We're shaking up the meta to Community Music Monday this month. We have this thing called the Wheel of Fate. We're testing her out. Now, we're getting ready to listen to an album. We don't know which album that's going to be. First, is it going to be just the top 10 albums? Is it going to be a pie of just the top 100 albums, or is it going to be the entire pie? We don't know. But we wanted to see about potentially helping get some of the older stuff off of the pie, some of the bigger slices, so to speak. So let us see what it's going to be tonight. What wheel are we going to be checking out this evening? It is looking like it's going to be a top 10 album. It seems like fate is a thing. Now, let me get this song wheel out of here. Now, we have 10 albums. These are the oldest or most buffed albums of the community. This could be either or. This could be either really old or just really community pushed. Now, I'm definitely excited because typically an album is not going to make it into the top 10 unless I'm really gonna like it. So I'm honestly kind of pleasantly surprised for this. Guys, let me know, did you, and Chaotic Old Boar, thank you for saying it that way, because that really is a beautiful way to look at it. Everybody got what they wanted out of that whole shindig, and I get to just listen to music with my friends. I'm super happy about that outcome entirely. I'm not even gonna lie. So, guys, let me know. Are you one of the represented 10 albums? If you're finding out you won on YouTube a little bit later, congratulations. You have no idea what a journey your album went on to get to this moment. Good luck, everybody. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? What's it going to be? It's looking like it's going to be Peasant by Richard Dawson. Are you familiar with this at all, my love?
No.
You're not familiar, huh?
Mm-mm.
Nor am I. It looks like it came out in 2017. It says avant-garde folk musician. Does anybody... Yo, it's Cones. Cone. This is what keeping positive and having a good attitude does for you, my homie. Richard Dawson. Okay. Don't be a Richard. Love it. And the album, let me see, was Peasant. Let me check here. Cone. Mega W's. You had one of the top 10 albums. You were here. You grinded out the community. You grinded out, I believe, over a year to get to this point. Now, that is not conventional. Actually, I don't know if that is or isn't conventional, but I do know that we apparently have an avant-garde folk musician that we're getting ready to listen to, totaling out to 11 tracks, released in 2017, June 2nd of 2017. Hey, just the day after our anniversary. Avant-garde folk sounds awesome. It does, actually. At this point, it's pretty typical. Lol. I gotta ask, guys, do you know this? Important context incoming on Discord. You have to let me know. Are you guys familiar at all with Richard Dawson or the album Peasant? It's a music discovery stream, so definitely let me know what you know about it. Are you a familiar or are you a raw dogger listening to it with me for the very first time? I am 100%, I've never even heard of it. Now, I'm told that there's going to be some context in our context crew. Let's check it out. Richard Dawson is an avant-garde folk artist hailing from Newcastle upon Tyne in northern England. He is a self-taught musician whose style is characterized by sprawling narrative-based lyrics, raw emotive singing, and him plucking his baby Taylor guitar as if he's trying to break it and infect it. And in fact, it has broken many times, including once in an earthquake, contributing to its unique sound. Peasant is his fourth record and the first of a trilogy of concept albums, all taking place in his same region, but at three distinct time periods. Peasant in the beginning of the Middle Ages, 2020 in the current day, and the Ruby Chord in the post-apocalyptic future. Set in the kingdom of Berenich, I don't know, Berenich, Bernick, I don't know, located between Scotland and England. Every song is a self-contained story, each told from the perspective of a different narrator. The album's main theme is connecting the past to the present through exploring the lives and hardships of people from a bygone age. Okay. We, my friends, might be getting into some heady territory. We might be having some conversations on what it means to be human. I am here for this. I love a conversation about what it means to be human, because I was one of those guys that studied philosophy. This is fantastic. Yeah, I'm down for this. Are you down for this?
Yeah, let's listen.
Let's listen. Guys, again, let me know, first timers, everybody, again, W's for our friend Cone, who really invested a heck of a lot of time to get his album into the top 10. This is not something one simply does. One does not simply get an album into the top 10. Okay. So guys, I'm going to hit the play button. Before I do, it's very important to me that you know that you are awesome, that you are valuable, that you are important, that you matter, that you are deserving of love, and that I am abundantly grateful for even a moment of your time. If you like what you see, feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button. It goes a long way to help me out. If you really like what you see, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you, or join us on Kick or Twitch. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Arizona time. These people over here are actually the best people. Come hang out with us. Come discover music with us. I know I speak for all of us when I say we would absolutely love to have you by. Guys, without further ado, I'm going to fire this one off before Twitch makes me run an ad break, so we'll at least get through the first song. Guys, Richard Dawson, on his album Peasant, the opener song, Herald, W's for our friend Cone. Here we go. First timers. Well, I guess I shouldn't even bother asking what you think it's going to sound like, because we already said avant-garde folk. Is this opener an instrumental? The first song is an instrumental. Thank you. I appreciate that, Cone. It's going to sound like music. Huh. I like the horns too. The little trumpet thing definitely brings me to Neutral Milk a little. I like the distant flutes. Huh. This is really interesting to me because it really does remind me a little bit of kind of like a procession a little bit, right? But it also reminds me, if it does not bring you to In the Aeroplane Over the Sea, the album in general, like you haven't listened to the album well enough. It's certainly bringing me like right there. Kind of bombastic, huh? This is super interesting. Oh, what's up, BHP? How's it going, homie? This is really interesting. Yeah, sounds like Peanuts adults a little bit. One more? I was wondering if there was going to be one more. There was a little bit. Yeah, I was going to say it kind of reminded me of like people like having little like music battles, like where they're dueling their instruments, and then they, you end up getting in a spot where they like kind of diddle and play back and forth, like kind of silly on their way out. It had a little bit of that, like a little bit of a silliness dueling instruments kind of thing. But then there was an element of bombastic to it that I really, really enjoyed. That was just kind of like that you didn't know when it was going to come. And I think that that's like part of the beauty of like the Brown of time. If I guess if you listen to Ween, you know what I'm talking about. But let's see. Yeah, Twitch is absolutely going to make me run an ad before I get to finish a 7-minute song. So guys, go stretch them legs. Smoke them if you got them. Even if they only candy cigarettes. And honestly, probably better for you if they are. Be right back. All right, friends, let us get down to business here and hop back in and actually see what this dude's voice sounds like with his song Ogre. I can't help but tell my brain that his name is Dick Dawson also. But it's his shirt that did it here. Just don't be a Richard. Just putting it out there. I'm not trying to say Dick. Wow. Kind of open tuning-y. Maybe? In the kingdom of Brittany, virgin on a bloody group of coke and dice of houses cast with clay and sheepdog. Nice. Sanitary. Wow.
Bring the goose, my child. I carve a notch into the squirming post. It smells like a smithy. Hurry now and drink the bowl before it congeals.
The really buzzy guitar strings that you hear on his low end is really interesting. There is a little bit of like a Renaissance Fest thing, a little bit sometimes of like a Thick as a Brick vibe by Tull. But there's also like, I can't stop seeing like the cast of Monty Python in my head, specifically from like the Holy Grail. Interesting.
Smells like a smithy. Hurry now and drink the bowl before it congeals.
The hammer on pull off work on this acoustic. For whatever reason in my head, I'm also hearing a little bit of the Sweeney Todd, like, I feel you, Joanna. I don't know why in my brain I'm hearing that, but for whatever reason, my brain is going to that.
In the hills, all they found, pointing from the settler's story.
Tie the goats to my cart, with tansy rods, their faces cover, push straws into the windows, damp the coals, and bar the door with unbeamless.
Really throws you in there with the imagery, doesn't he?
Blinding colors lead along bemirrored tower walls, stretching as far as the eye can see. I am walking icy beats by a
This song is about the disappearance of a child and the hysteria that ensues. The townsfolk are quick to blame an ogre without much proof. According to Dawson, this is the portrayal of how when tragedy strikes, people are quick to exploit it by pointing the finger to those who are different and foreign to them. This is paralleled on a song from the following album where after a flood, a person somehow manages to blame the immigrants leeching off the public services. So, racism, essentially. Got it. Wow.
farmer coming from
Wow.
the wood, beans are snapping off stems and a foul-smelling broom. Paralyzed, I watch my child's breath glide like a jellyfish across the black morning.
When the sun is climbing,
You'll find the harrow smothered in slime.
when the sun is climbing,
You'll put it in the darkest roses.
There is some whimsy to it, but it also, like, we're getting ready to go on like a torch and pitchfork hunt. You know what I mean? I've definitely got like the kind of the story hitting me. It's interesting because there are bits of it, like it's not one that I could find myself just listening to all the time, but it's like one of those ones where I feel like the story kind of captivates you and you end up thinking about it and you're like, what was that song that had that story about the ogre? And then you end up like looking back on it when you're in like a kind of fun nerdy conversation with your homie talking about like, the fact that the meta changed in Hearthstone or something. There's certainly a journey to it. I will warn you that there is a lot of archaic language in the lyrics, so you might not understand everything. Yep, nope. I kind of already gathered that was gonna be the case.
when the sun is climbing,
You'll break upon the heat.
when the sun is climbing,
You'll dash across the billowy weather.
when the sun is climbing,
You'll weather a storm.
Hey, have a good one, Mike.
when the sun is climbing,
You'll tarry by the pool of plenty.
when the sun is climbing,
You'll hurry down the valley of evil.
when the sun is climbing,
You'll hear the distance of the North Sea.
when the sun is dying,
You'll cross the coast they have never been.
Wow, heck of a journey.
Our cheeks will billow with the dew.
when the sun is dying,
We'll wade around the shoreline.
when the sun is dying,
This is super, super interesting. Like it's got a little bit of a like an Appalachian like kind of bluegrassy sort of vibe. But it's also got like an indie folk sort of thing happening there. It's, you know, reminiscent of like Neutral Milk and some of the Decemberists and you know, maybe from like the Crane Wife era. It's definitely got like in some places like even like a little bit of like a Dan Deacon sort of vibe with his lyricism. I feel like the imagery that you get put on, the journey that you kind of walk through, there's a lot to digest there. In some ways, it's like reading a fantasy novel but with music, and I find myself wondering, you know, how yeah. It's interesting because I don't always like fiction, but in music, it's got like a special soft spot for me where I haven't always found myself liking incredibly like really mega dorky nerdy stuff, but then like I also very much do. Like I'm a fan of prog rock. You know, you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here? Yeah, that's exactly where we're at, Mr. Bicycle. The acoustic textures are just so interesting. In my brain, this is what Canterbury music is supposed to sound like. Kind of also, I was noticing when the sun is climbing, when the sun is dying, like kind of like a day or night kind of, you know, refrain there. Ren Faircore. Whoa. It's interesting. He makes what sounds to be like really out of tune or detuned or like just busted up or goofy. Is this that Taylor guitar tone you were telling me about? It has got just a unique sound. Like it sounds like it's always a little bit a few degrees out of tune, like with it's warped wood. But it's also got like a real full-bodied warmth to it at times. I'm guessing that's an acoustic bass guitar? Or maybe it's an upright bass? I didn't know I was listening to Marcus Mumford. Joking.
Fellows bristling with anticipation that slurp among their supper bowls. A map of steam in the rafters overhead, shoveling it in. I don't taste a thing, only a memory of kisses spilled upon my chin.
Wow.
I am tired, I am afraid.
It's interesting how his guitar work is often so melodic and in line with his voice here. It's not easy, as some might think, to like play the melody as you sing it. Understand, that is a trip for your brain, you know? It doesn't just come naturally to most people.
I am tired, I am afraid. My heart is full of dread. I am tired and I am afraid. My heart is full of dread.
even his transition moments, he kind of walks through them with like blue notes, dun, 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 dun. You know, and he's got that really interesting like English rasp. And I guess that's where like my Marcus Mumford comment came from, where you've got that like definitely English dude doing kind of pushed vocals in moments, and that broken up sound. They kind of make their voices like the overdrive on their voice, so to speak, like when their pushed voices sometimes sound reminiscent of one another. The cigarette voice. Yeah.
Clammy with doubt of love. I'm really scared of going.
If you're a fan of people that sing with their accent, one of my all-time favorite bands, they're featured in my Formative 5 playlist, Frightened Rabbit. The lead singer is Scottish. Rest in peace, Scott Hutchison. But he sang with his brogue, and it added a tremendous character and honest conviction to his writing and his songs. Definitely something to invest your time in listening to. Hey, Night YT.
In the morning we march across the sea to the sunken monastery to face our faceless enemy. I am tired, I am afraid.
These
My
moments.
heart is full of dread. I am tired.
And the bombastic, dissonant
My
selections.
heart is full of dread.
The lyrics there, I am tired, I am afraid, my heart is full of dread. It just cuts you so deep, even in storytelling mode.
The rolling fields grow dark as the grave, and I am running for my life, a vow to never draw another blade. I'll be back home just as soon as I can. Let's betroth without delay, pack the horse and ride away, find some better place where we might raise.
Do you think he played all these parts himself?
My heart is full of hope.
The screechy moments.
And I am afraid. My heart is full of hope.
This is a song about a soldier who escapes battle to join his beloved. Well, and what's interesting is in this context, going from full of dread to full of hope, when he's running away from war to be with his beloved, is kind of an interesting concept. You know what I mean? Like there's kind of a lovely imagery to that. You know, because war blows. Like loving a human being is so much better than war. Unreal. Hey, babe, I love you more than I hate war. And I really hate war, babe. This is interesting. These madman moments on the acoustic guitar that just sound like a dude that's like sitting there diddling around make a huge added human being kind of sense to the musicianship, right? Like A lot of us just when we're dinking around, like, do these like random little tiddlywinks, like little tasters, right? Like things that make absolute no musical sense. We're just making the noise for the sake of making the noise, like a taster. There's something to this that I just really find myself kind of appreciating how rough and like in dissonant, chaotic, gross. It sounds like he's playing a resonator right there, too. And then he uses the dirty, grungy sounds that's just kind of nice. Dun, 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 dun. It's a recipe for dying wool.
Steep the wool.
Hey, you got here just in time to get here for an authentic recipe for dyeing wool in the Middle Ages. You almost missed this.
Do you think I'll like it?
I don't. I don't. I'm glad you're here.
I steep the wool in a cauldron of pomegranates afloat in urine. River water thrice boiled with a bloodstone. Then let it breathe under the beams while I prepare the lichen.
He really just jumps right into urine and all, you know? You want to know how to, you know, like I mean, you want to know a thing or two about dyeing wool. Well, you're in luck.
Urine.
Thanks. That's
Urine.
you're in luck. Because I know a song.
Of a fist of wizard beard and rock tribe yields a dying of the whole town to paint. Laughing there's an echo of the bees' way.
It sounds like a tea kettle in the background.
Fox gloves are shaking a salty wind. It looks like a thunder cloud suspended from the gables high above the bobbing heads, which now and then look up to see what's hanging on them. So we begin
Wow.
feeding it in, combing through the fibers, gently searching for a young spin.
This is one of the most unique things I've heard in a long time. I don't know how to quantify it. In fact, I do. I guess avant-garde folk is probably a pretty good way to describe it. But it's I can't recall that much, if any, avant-garde folk I've ever encountered in my life. I mean, this is certainly like in your face, and the imagery that it's using, like, it definitely wanted to tell a story. Like, this is definitely an art piece. This isn't a dude writing about his feelings. It's a dude writing about the way, like, creating a story about a time that gave him feelings. You know, it's an interesting kind of thing. Incredible string band at all. Never, not even a little bit. I'm sure that there are incredible string bands. This isn't something I would even really know how to begin to try to play with, though, because it feels like it's all kind of the guitars are all sort of seemingly tuned to themselves. It feels like there is an intentional sense of like kind of dissonance, kind of out of key, out of alignment, rough and dirty. Like it wants to feel coarse, you know? And I feel like that texture makes it a relatively difficult thing to try to approach in a play along with context, but it's super interesting to see like how many different faces music has.
My lady takes a nasty tumble.
Oh, that's terrible.
Down the crumbled steps of the merchant's guild, precipitated.
Oh, that must have left quite a raspberry.
Onset of labor. There is a crab caught in a hat.
So a pregnant lady, or maybe she just means like work, like precipitating the early onset of labor. I don't know. Maybe she caused them all the work, or like she was getting ready to poop out a baby and then got a crab in her hair.
Stretching through the market.
He means pregnant. Got it. Oh, that sucks.
To behold, even with the spindle firmly clenched between her teeth, with a snap the baby's head emerges onto the sodden eiderdown bed pages. Even though the newborn child is not my kin.
Wow, this is cool. What on earth? This is not my beautiful wife. Richard Dawson does not shy away from the cruelties of life. He has a couple of songs on his next album about dementia, homelessness, anxiety, etc. Golly goodness. So did he play all of the instruments? I'm very interested to know what you know about his like actual process here. I do think that was significantly my favorite one on the album so far. There was just, especially that ending that with kind of like chorus, or you know, the of a vocalist there. Yeah, definitely some Ren Fair core vibes to it as well, but there is like I don't know. There is a unique thing to it. Like it's not. A lot of times you hear me talk about things, and I find myself like trying to connect dots from one artist to another. I certainly don't know how to connect this artist or this band, to others. I don't even know who might be contemporary. I don't know other music like it. Like he just played the guitar. The only thing I can connect the vocals are that, it's been such an interesting journey. It feels like in some ways kind of like reading fantasy novels a little bit. I've always been more of a nonfiction reader myself. Like I watch documentaries it's just who I am. I like nonfiction, right? But in this context, this is kind of a like user-friendly fantasy for musical dorks like myself. So I'm not feeling too bad about it. How is this hitting you? This does not seem like it's something that's really in your alley. But I could be wrong.
Is my mic on?
Yeah. You working the mic?
That's pretty interesting. I want to keep listening a little bit.
Okay. Is it hitting you in any kind of way?
Well, that last song I kind of liked. It sounded like White Lotus a little bit.
Like the intro song to White Lotus? That is a good song.
It hit me there.
That is a good song. Yo, what's up, Ale? How's it going? I was exhausted and missed this. No, you haven't missed all of it yet. We aren't even halfway. Here we go.
There has to be more than this. Is there no reason for me to
I don't know if it's just an English distinct thing, but his voice kind of reminded me a little bit of Isaac from Black Country New Road there in the beginning.
this? Is there no reason for me to exist but for as a
Wow.
plaything of miscreants, malingerers, dastards and knaves?
Truly ripped to him.
Is it so? Is it so? A child can be bought for a year's worth of grain. In this day and age, it's hard to explain, but it happens again and again. I'll never forget
He's so expressive with his acoustic guitar.
where the freckled jowls contort across my father's face and disappear under the wheels of the cart. Then the sky parts, a pillar of rain. It is my brother.
Oh,
If
don't get me started talking about Bob Weir right now.
Children of my own, I'll cleave them to my breast and conjure them far
Wow.
from this country of demons made flesh.
Wow. Brutal. What is that noise? A little primacy, brain itchy? This is nuts.
Is choked to the death on a dummy of puke.
This is interesting.
I stole this horse, old speckled brown face, from the royal tannery. Haunches glossy with sweat, we burst through the birch, turn our heads north, with dawn in our lungs, we reach the border.
This is admittedly not the like most user-friendly music for me. I think it's so cool because I could never do anything like this. Like the way his musical brain works is not at all the way my musical brain works, and that's so cool because music is a different language for everybody. But this is one of those things where it's just so far foreign to the way I would conceptualize and play music that it's constantly an interesting twist and turn. In the same breath, it's like it feels like watching the extended edition of Lord of the Rings. Like, you love to do it, but it does feel like kind of an investment, and sometimes you got to think about the plot point. You got to follow things. Sometimes you miss things that you might have missed. Whatever. Like, there is an element where there's a lot going on, both musically and lyrically. And as you're following along and you're hearing his kind of like, I think very intentional, rough and thing. That's a pretty good way to put it, Tara. More interesting than enjoyable. You know, there are, I don't know. It's like I'm finding it both, but I'd say probably maybe more interesting than, like, I couldn't just crunch this album out idly. I couldn't just put it on and be like, yeah, let's go. That's not a dunk to it. It's one that if I listen to this album, I'm going to want to participate and like be a part of it, the journey. This is a great road trip album. This is a great on the way to the Ren Fair album. This is a good like D&D game with the homies and putting it in the background kind of album. Like if you're specifically gaming, like playing cards or board games, whatever. But it's like, it's not one that I would ever really find myself. And I don't know if it's because of the storytelling, but like that one was kind of hard.
I agree with Tara.
The more interesting than enjoyable.
Yeah.
There's again, this isn't a dunk. It's like when I consider the album for the art, like every single song is this richly like image-based journey. Like you get such a vivid story as you go through it, and you have almost like an actual minstrel, like a dude actually just kind of throwing you into something in medias res, or a bard, like throwing you into the middle of it in medias res, and you're just kind of picking up on his story, which is sung. So there is a really cool vibe to that. And then the avant-garde part mixed in with that whole thing. It's like, this is without question one of those wonderful conversation pieces of music, right? Like where it's one you talk about when you leave the art display, but maybe you didn't buy the display. I don't know. Shapeshifter. You hear this panning static? Immediately, this reminds me of The Tallest Man on Earth, Love Is All. You hear that? Listen to this. Hang on. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? You're going to hear it. Hey, have a good night, Real Grimoire. It's certainly there. Except the voice is so different. And honestly, if you like The Tallest Man on Earth, you need to, like, if you like this sound, if you like this sound, if you're listening to Richard Dawson, listen to The Tallest Man on Earth. Like, because you'll really enjoy this guy.
Oh, I said I could.
You'll love him. I'm telling you, do yourselves the favor. I can't it. Love to see it. I know we've gone through this a little bit, but I couldn't help but hear that song "Love Is All" by Tallest Man on Earth. It's like You Got a Friend in Me did a Coke and a whiskey. This is nuts. I'm really loving this a lot.
Leaving the path, lured by an emerald, I wander into the bog of names. Now I'm stuck fast, carved sorry hinges, glued with the silence of newts in the gloaming.
She turned me into a newt. You're supposed to say a newt, and I'm supposed to say I got better. You never watched Monty Python, did you?
Yeah, I did once. Slowly walking.
Fair. Oh, well, okay. Different movies. Well, and that's a skit. This was the movie. Fair enough. There's multiple. But you said Silly Walks, right?
It's in the movie.
The Ministry of Silly Walks? Oh, I thought that was like from the skit.
It's probably both.
Could be. What also floats? A duck.
Goblets of wine, rubies on my chin, I'll wear you away.
Whoa.
Through the soil, all the roots will join me to forge a bow.
I want to hear the away away part again.
Rubies on my chin, I'll wear you away. Through the soil, all the roots will join me to forge a bow of the tree. Away to the hall of Christ.
See, this part is so interesting. That guitar tone is just unreal. It's so unique and weird. Somewhere between a resonator and an old acoustic guitar that's just beat up. Has moments of bluesy stuff. And then
the
others of
blue,
jazz?
a figure approaches, wrapped in a garment of northern light.
Love the imagery.
Free, gives me a potato, escorts
Good on
me
him.
to the edge of town, then turns on the heel, failing to hide a tail stripe, following more with the cusp of night, away, away.
The hard left turn there, that away hard left turn is so nice. This is certainly, again, one of those Journey moments. I think Hall of Clouds is intended to mean heaven. This song is about a man who is in a drunken stupor, falls into a bog. He begins to see strange visions as he is dying. He is rescued by a mysterious figure. Before they leave, the man seemingly spots a tail on the mysterious figure. Whether or not it was an actual shapeshifter or another one of the visions is left to interpretation. Got it. Interesting, kind of a reverse crane wife story there. If you're not familiar with the crane wife, basically a poor fisherman goes out, sees a crane with a broken hurt wing, brings the crane home, mends the crane back to health, lets opens the crane, or opens the door whenever the crane's healthy, lets the crane fly away. Then a crane, a woman shows up mysteriously, beautiful woman, ends up marrying the man, and like her skill is just idly kind of falls in love with the guy falls in love with the woman, completely enamored. She is able to make these like really beautiful silk scarves, and that's how they make their money. And the agreement is basically like she'll make the silk scarves as long as he agrees not to watch her make the scarves. Well, they make a ton of money, and eventually greed kind of takes over the husband, who really was just in it for the love of his wife. And eventually he goes and breaks his rule and walks in as she's making her scarves, and he finds a crane in the room ripping its wings out to make the silk fabrics. And yeah. So it's kind of one of those like really deep things, and the crane ends up flying away, and the husband is alone forever, realizing that his greed drove her to basically kill herself and not be a crane anymore. But her love also brought her to, become a person. But it's an interesting play on the shapeshifter story, right? Like the crane wife. How we still on songs, or we're pretty deep into an album here. Bish, what's up though, homie? I don't know. I think that the crane isn't the jerk. I think the crane husband is kind of the jerk. Hoops McDingleberry, welcome. How you doing, homie? This is Scientist. Second half of the album where it takes a much darker turn, both musically and lyrically. Oh, you good, homie. It really does sound like that's a resonator, but are you saying that that guitar I'm hearing is his like mini Taylor, his baby Taylor?
I am come straight from the palace, through the tombstone to your fold, and the behest of the king, with a gift for your temple. I have looked this strange
I have logged this strange contraption. There's. Did I blow your ears out? There's something kind of like musical-esque about this, you know? I'm reminded of one of the stories in Quiet on basically a collection of Japanese ghost stories that also has the character being saved by a spirit of winter who falls in love with him, but asks him never to speak of the encounter again in his life. Later, she appears to him as a beautiful woman. They get married, and at one point, some years later, he confides in her about what happened to him. Oh, dang.
Take me to the house of your so-called please. Blasphemer.
We do not require the use of your abundance. We have our own steam device, powered by waste. It no longer recognizes us.
Wow. So this song is about a scientist who attempts to force their new technology upon the people of a village. The village people are portrayed by the backing vocals. Got it. There is a very distinct like style of his guitar playing where he plays the melody exactly as he sings it. And it's not like he's just playing chords, like he's actively engaging with the melody as he sings, and it's this really interesting thing, very much like folk in not like the Bob Dylan kind of way. The strings there.
As a fellow sympathetic reason, I strongly suggest you reconsider your position. Or you may face a rough, truly dire consequences. The installment of this modern world there is for your own benefit. I will rain boiling hot on your roofs if you refuse.
We have lost this innovation, leading to the dangerous global storm of fire. Now live secret open, closing the whole world.
Wow. This is a little brutal. This is definitely like the technology is taking over and it's being run by a select few. It's like you're kind of seeing like, I mean, it reminds me a little bit of like Castlevania in a way. I don't know. I'm just kind of getting that vibe there. But instead of like the priests, it's like the scientists. That bass texture is so interesting with this. But it makes me wonder if he tuned the instruments to themselves or allowed there to be that intentional rub. So we got 4 songs on this left. One of them is 1 minute and 20 seconds. Another one of them is 10 minutes and 49 seconds. Kind of love that he left. Oh boy. That was just out there, out of nowhere. That just really, really, really came out and punched you right in the face. Okay, so guys, yeah, I am going to run an ad break, and we are going to come back and finish out the other 4 songs after that jump scare. I'm going to go wipe my butt because I pooped my pants. I'll be right back. Alrighty-dighty, guys. Let's finish out our avant-garde, bulky adventure, shall we? Hopping into the song Hob. What a vibraty... It's like you can hear the fret is unaligned, like the string... There's this terrible fret buzz, like it sounds like the bridge is off. It's got this like weird, it feels like the strings are just so detuned, like the whole guitar is tuned like a full step or 2 steps down. There's way more low end coming out of this little baby Taylor than there should be. For sure. Yo, what up, Ghost Ship Robot? Welcome to the Rooskies, homie. I saw that you followed while I was in the restroom. Rooskies, I hope you did my job for me and made our new friend feel at home. Ghost, what's up, homie? Welcome to the Rooskies. Like that sound. Sounds like the very bottom as you're beginning to tune your strings. Is that a bass with a bow? To the mouth of the Hobthrust cave. Okay. Decanted the hot wine from a nanny's throat and placed loaves on the greasy stove. Pick 3, me lord. Our baby's lips are blue. Our baby's eyes grow dim. This is not good. Take it off. They're bringing dead babies into it. Take it off, and we'd be your eternal feathers. As the doorway drew near, our elder stepped here with a bundle in her arms. It was clutching her tresses and nursing her breast, and the color was returned. Okay. This is madness. It's like he really makes everything crescendo. In the palm of one hand, now he's grown as tall as I am, with the face
of his mother failed, and down he goes on the broad shoulders of
Wow.
a man. He
Bringing
is
that low-end
strong
synthy
with
thing
the
in?
second sight. Round these parts held in some renown, using words not his own, he voraciously foretold of a drought when the stream was bulging.
A drought when the stream is bulging? Like overflowing in a drought?
When the pictures become too real, he buries his nose in the book.
It feels like that left ear noise is like like a screeching like violin or something. It may be a penny whistle. I don't know. It does give the sense of tinnitus for sure, but there's also this like this not quite dissonance, not quite droning, but this sense of uncomfort, like almost like anxiety. It's like getting hit with the flashbang from just the left side sometimes. I don't know.
Shove my beard, gently pinches my earlobe between thumb and forefinger, till the present is restored. At the murmur of dawn, there's a
Like, how do you
knock
perform
at the
this?
door, and a small man standing by. He is wearing a dog's hide and flies for a crown. One good eye, a sparkling well in his brow. I'd already acquainted
Imagine remembering all of these lyrics.
of that voice before he even spoke. I have come to collect what is rightfully owed. Rouse the boy from slept, get him bathed and
Dang.
it is time he kept your end of
Dang.
the bargain.
So he ends up getting to raise a kid and loses the kid.
The
Dude, the song is about a father who brings a sick child to a mysterious healer. The healer, they tell the healer that if you save the child, we will be your internal debtors. As the child grows up, he sees strange visions of the future and warns of disasters in a voice not of his own. When he is fully grown, the mysterious healer returns and settles the debt the parents owe by taking their son. The father recognizes that the voice of the mysterious healer is the same voice that had spoken through their son earlier. Dang, I knew it was Miracle Max. Thought I call that a bargain, the worst I ever had. Dang. Yeah, that's definitely not an ideal scenario. That's like terrible financing paperwork, you know? That was a brutal story, dude. Very much like old time, like fairy tale kind of vibe there, you know? Maybe. I don't know, Judo. I don't know anything about our friend here. But I'm digging this. This is fantastic. Absolutely, yes.
She's fast asleep at Warden's feet.
The little tremolo picking in the left ear.
Whilst arms I seek from thronging fair folk as a well.
That's interesting.
Fast to the teeth. She smote
Wow.
me then we ever since been shadows to peace of one old soul.
This is so this is so nice. Yeah, so to your spare sounds idea, tasters, right? Like those little like junk noises that normally get edited out, or like people replay parts over. Like he really utilizes those. Like he finds a use case for those sounds that has like a chaotic, kind of messy, rough and dirty approach, but it adds such a characteristic to the song. It's like a lot of his chords are like blue chords, and instead of and his notes blue notes, but he has these moments like where you also just have like kind of nice little major scale moments. Do 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 do. Like you have like the way he kind of walks and takes you into these like minor to major tonalities within the same song, but then he very much oftentimes is like playing a lead of the melody while he's singing the melody. So it's really interesting transitionary guitar playing. It's kind of like guitar playing 1.5. Like you're playing like two guitarists version, you know, like you're playing lead and rhythm yourself. It's interesting. Like this is choice.
If you rely on the kindness of strangers, it helps to have a home for a handmaid, not only for
That
the
part.
superior nose. Oh, companionship.
You're in the right place, Ghost. Happy to have you, man. Thank you for the sub, homie.
People stop to talk with me, having never seen before such a very beautiful snow-colored collie.
That's such a very beautiful snow-colored. Are you laughing at me? Oh, you going to bed? I love you. Good night, my sweetie. My sweet one. Guys, W's for my wife. Walking around in my t-shirt. Well, our t-shirt looking all good. A King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard t-shirt looking all good. Representing the Flight B741. Gosh, she's cool. I love that woman more than I hate war. And I really hate war. This part is so good. It's funny because that part sounds like so quintessential indie rock, and then you get like
Working the fell, a most powerful lie.
this.
Heart
This.
of the grass, fast as a lightning before the children were grown, they'd ride
The drum bombastics are so interesting.
the northern banners yesterday. She went and chased all the ships right.
Like, did it occur to anybody else that Richard Dawson is the leader of the Knights Who Say Knee? And he's just also a fantastic musician?
Chase all the ships right at my wit's end. I finally located her under a winding bush. My poor old lady
Yeah, he is.
sees
I don't think it's an Ebo. I think that we're actually hearing like a real upright bass or cello. I could be wrong. I mean, but I don't get those tones out of my Ebo no matter which use case I use. Maybe that's ignorance on my part, but I tell you, I've taken a lot of at-bats.
When the raiders came in their flaming carriages, she was running to her family, while I listened on, cowering behind a
It's very, very thematic. Like, you certainly get a sense of scenery and changing scenes within the music.
No denying it. I sold my shoes so I could buy a jacket, a penance on the tree. On a final day, now she is gone. I carry her down to the sea, scream to the sinking stars. Can you ever forgive me?
Bro. This song is about a beggar and his friendship with an old dog. The dog is not his own. It spends a lot of time with him and occasionally has seizures that only he can calm. When bandits raid the village, he cowers and the dog runs away to protect its family. He eventually finds the dog wounded and brings her down to the sea and trades his shoes for a chicken for her. She dies and he feels guilty for not running after her when the bandits came. Oh, man. I don't want to think about dogs that die right now. That's heavy stuff, dude. Oh my gosh, Shoot Pelican, you big old cutie. Thank you for the Prime sub. Amazon only gives you one of those. You gave yours to me. I'd much rather think about that. Thank you. Hey. Ugh. I love this. This outro is just beautiful. Hopefully not anytime soon. But Clark's really old. Like, really old. He's already outlived his life expectancy, like, tremendously, and, like, I'm hoping we keep that trend going, but, like, I don't know how much longer that's gonna be. It's like, I'm kind of stealing myself for it. I actually think that that was probably my favorite song on the album, though. All, you know, sad dog thoughts aside. This song is called No One. I'm guessing it's an instrumental, but you're getting kind of a digitally soundscape here, which is interesting for something that's been so kind of old-time minstrelly. Song isn't about a person, but rather is meant to depict the space of the world in the album. Got it. Is also on the 2 other albums. Got it. Ah, Ghost, you came here on a weird day for that question, but there is. This sounds so out of place for the rest of this album. If I'm just being like 100 about it, it kind of reminds me randomly of this old anime that I watched called Casher and Sins. This is pretty good. Not my favorite, not like life-changing or anything. Pretty good, right? Pretty good. But for whatever reason, the soundscape is kind of reminding me of that. It did. Definitely a transitional song. But with these kind of soundscapes, it almost feels like it's kind of transporting us out of the world that we were just in, like into a completely different sort of soundscape, you know what I mean? And this one is Masseuse, and this is the closer. Does the album stick the landing? We gotta figure that out. Does the album stick the landing? Love this sound, though. It's like, I don't know if he's intentionally playing harmonics right there, or if he's like muffing chords on purpose. This is interesting. That upright bass in the right ear.
Fortune wags its tongue.
It reminds me a little bit of Gogol Bordello here.
On the walkways of the bathhouse, they say the monk returned from Iceland on earthly moon in
This is goofy.
He who possesses the pin of quib is granted eternal beauty.
May each of you possess the pin of quib. You know? Each of yous. Goofy in the sound textures. Let me explain what I mean when I say this is goofy. You have really juxtaposed sound textures here. These like computery kind of goopy kind of sounds on top of this like whoa. I mean, the acoustic guitar sound I've been trying to peg the entire time we've been listening, right? And then you've got this like folky minstrelly, sometimes bluegrassy, sometimes Americana-y sounding, but it's not that at all because it's just not that. But it has like sound textures that overlap in that territory. There's something really, really, really organic about it. But then when you put that sound texture over it, it just almost feels like it completely morphs the entire... It's like, you know, we've been watching, you know, A Knight's Tale all day, and then out of nowhere, Lieutenant Commander Data just beams to Earth in the middle of The Knight's Tale, you know? And everybody's looking at this, like, android, wondering, like, what do you do with it? And he's like, oh, well, this definitely breaks Prime Directive. I shouldn't have beamed right here for all of these people to see me. That's kind of like the vibe I'm getting from this. Anyways.
I am tired of men, of needing the knots from their bulbous backs and necks, and rinsing their filmy water from this new of tile. When I heard tell of the pin of whip, straight away I knew I had to own it at all
Like, these are such unique sound textures. This is the goofy I'm talking about.
A storm like a drum encompasses the priory as I go on mouse toes into the blind man's chamber. And
You know, I think what it is, though, is that it is so many left turns. It's so many scene changes. But it's like I can tell that he's completely nailed what it was he's trying to do. It's like, and I've followed along with these stories kind of at the edge of my seat on some of them. Like, my heart has kind of gotten checked a couple of times along the way. Like, there's certainly a thing here, right? Like that hits me, even though this is not conventionally for me. It's like, it's one of those things I end up walking away glad I listened to, just because for a little while you kind of live an imagined world elsewhere, even if it's sometimes even, you know, like a sadder one. There's a heavy... I'm not a hugely visual thinker, right? Like, I'm primarily like a thinker with sound. I don't know another way to put it, but like, I can hear any voice in my head, but I can't see any picture in my head. It's just how I work, right? So when I get lyricism that's heavily steeped in imagery, it truly does help me kind of put things together. Same with books, right? But in this context, it kind of makes it a little bit easier to kind of see this as like a concept album that is more episodic in its own way, reflective of a time period or something like that. I don't know what aphantasia is. Let me see. Do I have... Yeah. Sometimes it's like here, if I have really good like assistance, or like if I can really like a guitar's fretboard might be this, right? Like the turn into my house might be this, right? But most of my life is spent here. And then, you know, I guess I have like kind of a synesthesia thing in my life, so that like works a little differently. But in here, there's none of this, like not even close to this. I got nothing. Nothing.
Leaning over his bed, I pushed the blade between his ribs, but then in a flash he's got my wrist.
Dang.
And he's
He stabbed
pinned
him.
me to the floor.
Bro. Are you saying most people are apparently around a 4? Are you kidding me? No way. A 4? This is just tense.
I wake up down.
Really transitioned scenes there. You really do go through chaos, and then all of the sudden, it's almost like he's screaming out, "I wake gagged and bound." But of course, you can't scream when you're gagged. You could probably scream if you're bound, but maybe not if you're gagged and bound. 4, maybe strong 3. Okay, yeah. Either way, that chart has me feeling real like I have whatever it was said that I have, or suggested that I have. Aphantasia? Is that what it was? Because yeah, it's dark in here, guys. Like I think I've now proven on the channel, like I've got a pretty decent ear. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, because I'm saying like we all have our goods and our bads. I have no visual thing in here whatsoever. Like I am not a good visual artist at all. But I do think I've now got enough proof on camera to say I've got like a pretty good ear. I can typically tell you what I'm listening to. I can typically just pick up an instrument and play along with what it is I'm hearing. But it's like I definitely, yeah, you don't have the flexibility to toot your own horn. Oh, absolutely not. I certainly don't. pear worst fruit it's the worst fruit of the big of the big fruit. The pear is the worst fruit of big fruit.
Would you like to see the pen retching on his bill? I know more than
Lychee. Texture.
From inside his coat, he fishes a brooch, a plain pea of stone, no bigger than a thumbnail, and I can hardly believe how very
Okay. For perspective. He fishes a brooch, a plain pea of stone, no bigger than a thumbnail. I literally did one of these just for perspective. I literally gave my thumbnail a 1 over just so I could connect a little bit more with the song. This is who I am. Okay. My mom made fun of me one time. Mama Rooski and I were sat down eating grapes, which is a really fantastic small fruit, and Cheez-Its. And on the box of Cheez-Its, there was a picture of a Cheez-It, as one might assume there would be. And next to the Cheez-It was a little tiny white word phrase that said actual size. So I took a Cheez-It, I looked at it, and then I held it up to the box where it said, had the picture of the Cheez-It that said actual size. And my mom watched this whole thing happen. Doesn't say a word, just observed me looking at the box of Cheez-Its, eating Cheez-Its, seeing the Cheez-It, comparing actual size. And I put the box of Cheez-Its down, and she just erupts in laughter at me. This is how this thing works. So understand that some of these lyrics have been the actual size equivalent of this song, of the songs to me.
thumbnail, and I can hardly believe how very ordinary it seems. Then it dawns on me, it was all mere folly, yes. Now you see the pin's a pebble only, that which you so thirstily covered it over my dead body. Now it is yours to keep, you are its custodian.
Some of his guitar moments are really percussive. He kind of makes the strings and the notes pop, almost like he treats a lot of the notes he plays on the guitar as target notes, which sounds so stupid to say unless you play guitar. I know. So understand if you don't play guitar and don't have the concept of target notes. What I said is obviously going to sound really dumb because of course he targets the notes he's playing, right? He's a musician. So again, if this might be one of those things that I'm saying where it's if you know, you know, okay? But it does feel like he has this concept of he targets his notes, and he kind of slides into a lot of them. It almost creates this jazzy dissonance, but it also kind of has this real rub thing, but the way he plays them, it's almost the most extreme chicken pick and pop sound on an acoustic guitar you could make in some cases, but I think it really does serve a very specific percussive intention.
Now it is yours to keep,
Mango is the best fruit. Just in case anybody was wondering, that's the correct answer.
Of your eyes, then the circle will be whole.
This song is about a masseuse who hears a rumor of an artifact called the Pin of Quib, shout out, and supposedly grants the wearer eternal beauty. As she is massaging a blind client, she notices the pin and attempts to kill him in order to steal it. The man overpowers her and ties her up and brings her to the woods. He reveals that the pin is not at all magical, and as punishment for trying to steal it, she must pay the price for her vision. He blinds her and gives her the pin. We can presume he was blinded for the same reason, as he says, now the circle is complete. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Talk about blindly sticking a landing. Ugh. This rough, just wobbly, vibrating, acoustic guitar sound. And then that. I can deal. Yes, the champagne mango might be the best mango, actually, that I've had. I've never listened to oh my gosh, my brain. I've never listened to an artist that full sent this kind of idea, like where it was very much just every bit of it was storytelling. Every bit of it was where everything was kind of episodic, but not connected, yet still followed kind of this rough theme, like where the theme was really connected to more a setting, and you have a whole bunch of different viewpoints. There's a tremendously like I don't know how I'm trying to put it. I think I said earlier it was very organic and earthy, but then also at times it has this ethereal thing. There is this feeling of storytelling. And I'm saying, I know I made mention of like Monty Python, but I do feel like it's important that I mention, for the sake of the artist, that this is significantly more serious than that. It does feel like this was a very serious approach at creating a huge atmosphere. And the way he did it with the sound textures throughout the album is actually very interesting. You have one of the most unique acoustic guitar sounds honed onto a recording that I've ever heard. Like, it is rough, it is dirty, and yet somehow so precise, and it's one of those things that, like, I feel like only he could play his guitar that way. I feel like everybody else that would try to play his guitar, it would sound terrible, but he's kind of found a way to make it his own. It's very expressive, and you know, he talks often with his guitar, and I'm really, really, really kind of liking that. Overall, I mean, admittedly, the album has been good, even though there's only 2 songs I could see myself necessarily returning to in their own right. I feel like this album is the kind of album that you go out of your way to listen to in its entirety. I feel like this is worth more than the sum of its parts, if that makes sense to you. That's just where I'm coming from right now. I think it's also probably an album that obviously seems to reward repeat listens. Definitely procession-y. Meets Fallout. Oh, wow. I think he totally intentionally reverse Amazing Graced it, too. Because Amazing Grace is Amazing Grace, How Sweet the Sound, you know, like I once was blind, but now I see. I think he intentionally went against the grain of one of the most prolific songs in the world. This one was this was a way to land an album for sure. Yo, the Static Zone Radio, welcome to the Rooskies. Rooskies, make our new friend feel at home. I am genuinely honored. Honestly, finishing this album up, guys, this one kind of had a unique rub. It's interesting in that it got me to really think of aphantasia, and at bare minimum, kind of learn what that is. And to this point, right, I live pretty consistently here, right? Like, just admittedly, no image. I only know I am thinking of the apple. Pretty frequently that. This album gave me enough to work with that I was kind of dim and vague, you know, as far as being able to see what it was I was hearing. And I think that that's a lot. Because honestly, like, again, most of my default mode network is here with my internal voice that I can make any sound. You know, I don't know another way to. I've tried to tell that to people, but I can hear or play any sound I hear in my brain, like just there. But I don't have these. You know, I don't have those. This album was kind of interesting in that it gave me enough lyrics to be able to kind of follow a story. And I think maybe I imagined that I would have done really well with like radio shows back in the day. I don't know. But anyways, as far as this album goes, this was so far out of anything I've ever heard before. It was not even something I guess I even knew existed. It's like it hit huge concepts. It had a lot of things I couldn't necessarily understand. Honestly, I think I'm most impressed with the music and the fact that he could remember the lyrics and then perform them. But yeah, it's actually kind of the way he approaches folk is unlike any other person I've heard approach folk. I'm actually really impressed. And while This is one of those albums that it's probably going to be a rare return. It's one of those albums that I'm like genuinely glad I heard. It's like it feels like listening to an album that like a lot of people told you was a really good movie, and you finally watched it and checked it off the list. I don't know how big a deal this album is, but I'm saying if I've had this and the top list of my album pie wheel for that long, it had certainly, at least in my context, enough people and enough time and enough of my friends saying, hey, you should listen to this. So guys, yeah, W's for Cone, whose album this was. Guys, I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for the positivity that you show both to me and to one another. Cone, I am psyched that you got to be here for this one, homie. Thank you for being here like every single time I do a stream, being such a positive member of the community from the Europe, might I add. I'm pretty sure you're in the Europe, right? Like I genuinely appreciate the heck out of it. Rooski with the best of them. Guys, I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for the positivity that you show both to me and to one another. Continue to be the best. And until I see you next, be introspective and consider the birds. Goodbye.